been invited back to the Indiana Seaplane Association splash-in at Pokagon State Park. I'm with Leigh Smith. Leigh, you just came in this beautiful amphibious airplane. What is it about seaplanes that gets you all excited?
It's just the joy of seaplane flying. It's a little bit different type of flying than we normally do on land. Takeoff and landing on water is a lot of fun, very challenging. And then once you're in the water, it takes a lot of skill as far as if you're a sailboater and you understand the water, the wind drift. There's many things that go into operating on the water safely, and especially in tight areas as far as energy management, speed. You really got to take your time, and you really need to think ahead, way ahead, where you're going, because once you get a piece of machinery like this moving, there is no brakes, there's no reverse, and so it takes a lot of planning to get into tight areas. So it's a very challenging form of flying, much more so than just flying on land.
I'm a private pilot. What would I have to do to get a seaplane endorsement?
What you do, there's many different places around the country. One of the most known is Jack Brown's down in Winter Haven, Florida. It's about a 3-day course. You would go out with an instructor for the first 2 days and get several lessons in how to, of course, take off and land on the water and the different maneuvers that we do on the water. And then the third day you take a check ride with an oral exam, and then after the oral exam you're going to be taking a flight check with an examiner. And that's all that's required. There is no written test like some of the other licenses.
So it really is an endorsement that you can add to your license.
Correct.
Tell us about this particular airplane.
This is a 1976 185 Cessna. It started its life, went from the factory right to Canada, and was in Canada until 2000, at which time Whip Air, which is the company that makes the floats, they bought the aircraft to use as a test bed. These are a new design float that came out around 2000, and they had to get it approved, certified and approved to the FAA, and so this airplane was bought to certify the 3000 floats and the 3450s. And on this airplane, this float is a 3450, and which is what they normally use on a Cessna 206. So the nice thing about this airplane, I'm a little overfloated as far as the buoyancy that's required, because the 206 has a higher gross weight than I do.
300 horse.
300 horse. It's an IO 520D motor, 300 horse for 5 minutes, and then it's 285 horse continuous after that.
Leigh, two kinds of float flying, straight floats and amphibious floats.
Yeah, this is called an amphib because it has wheels that retract. For the folks that live more in the south or in the Midwest where we don't have a lot of lakes and we want to be able to get gas easily, the amphib works real good. The problem, though, is you're carrying about 200 to 300 pounds extra. And so when you go to Canada or Alaska, you don't see many amphibs. You see mostly straight floats, because that's 300 pounds of revenue that you're losing if you have an amphib. So the people that are making money with airplanes, they want to be able to put that money in the fuselage, and that's carrying load capability. So they just stay with straight floats.
So if you're flying amphib, a lot to think about. Kind of like a retractable. You got to know when those floats are, when those wheels are out, when they're in.
That is very true. You cannot do the checklist enough times with an amphib, because the most dangerous spot is landing on the water with the gear down.
Pre-flight on an amphibious, you got to make sure you don't have water in the floats.
This is correct with all floats. Before you take off and go flying, it's imperative that you pump the floats out. The floats have access areas where we put a pump in and we pump out each compartment. The floats are normally made up of 4 to 6 compartments, and it's imperative that you pump the water out. Water weighs 8 pounds per gallon, so if you happen to have 40 gallons of water, you've got a lot of weight there. So these floats here, I'm very lucky, are very tight, so I don't even get a gallon out of the floats after all day flying, which is really amazing.
Your orientation, you're sitting up high, has got to be different than what we're used to flying on wheels. How does this airplane handle on the ground?
Handles very well on land. I'm really amazed at how well it does handle. Yes, it's very unique sitting up so high. Fortunately, I fly big aircraft, so I'm used to sitting up high. You really have to plan ahead for that.
The front wheels are free casting?
That is correct. The front wheels caster, you have to steer with the main wheels, which is brakes, so it's differential braking to keep the aircraft tracking straight or to make turns. But what's nice about that is you can turn in a very tight spot. Unlike a regular tricycle geared airplane that takes quite a big radius to turn, I can literally turn on the main gear in a very tight spot.
You fly professionally, but when you're off work, you're still flying.
Yeah, this is true. I fly for a major airline and fly mostly European routes. Enjoy that job as well, but I do enjoy general aviation. It's an absolute joy. It's a way to see the countryside and go places and do things, meet new people. Just so many new friends I've met over the years with just such great backgrounds and experiences. So general aviation is a lot of fun. It's a great way to meet people, and it's just a great sport in a seaplane.
Leigh Smith from Knox, Indiana.